Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about why I love Masteron, aka Drostanolone, which is a androgenic and anabolic steroid that is, I'll explain the qualities of it and why based on the qualities it is probably my favorite steroid. Obviously, as a secondary compound to testosterone, you take testosterone, you wouldn't just take Masteron by itself, okay? But so originally it was created to treat breast cancer in women, and that was back in like the 60s, and you inject it. It's an injectable steroid, okay, not an oral one. So I take Masteron propionate, which is the short ester. There's also Masteron enanthate, which I consider taking too. Like, I think both would be good, but the propionate, it's shorter, it's more quicker, it's faster acting as opposed to being drawn out. So my dog's like biting me whenever I make a video. He starts biting me because he hears me talking and he gets excited. So I take the propionate and I can tell like it kicks in like it's a day, like the half-life on it's only a day or two. So I inject it every other day. So I feel like that, like the big wave effect of it, and the big wave effect has to do with energy and mood. Overall, like I think it's a great antidepressant. It is like you get so much positive energy off it. Sexual energy is off the hook. Like it's almost too much. I made a video about this about 2 weeks ago, where I was like, between the testosterone, probably nandrolone, the Masteron propionate, and Cialis I'm taking, like the sex drive is for me is just unreal. It's sometimes too much, I'm telling you, but it's also a good thing. So the other side effects from Masteron is masculinization, because it's dihydrotestosterone, which is responsible for secondary male characteristics, sexual characteristics. So masculinization, that's why women who take it, they get like virilization, which means that they essentially get male qualities, like an Adam's apple, a jawline, and a large clit that's like a little micro penis. But the other side effects, this is one that I'm getting that I suspect is largely due to the Masteron, is bad acne, specifically like right here. You want to see it? Check out that. That's pretty bad, eh? I just popped one, so that's why. But it wasn't always like this, but it's because I increased the dosage that, since I increased the dosage about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it got a lot worse. And on my back, but what helps, I find, is being out in the sun. It dries it up. And you can just tell, like, what is a sweat called? Like the scientific name for sweat, sebum or something. It just is way more oily. You tell it's thicker. You get this oiliness to it. It's like from your sweat glands. So that's not good. Increased hair growth around the body. I think I noticed a little bit of that on my back, but like I'm largely hairless anyway. Like I have beard and things, but like my body, I'm not like super hairy guy. Voice changes. I think I did notice a bit of a drop in voice since started taking some of these things, and I already mentioned the increased sexual desire. A good thing about it compared to other steroids is it doesn't cause liver damage. Okay, it's a good thing. It's very safe if you don't abuse it. Like anything, you can abuse things, and it's safe if you take it in the right ratios with the other compounds that you're taking. It actually makes doing steroids, Masteron is, by doing Masteron, it actually makes taking things like testosterone, especially at higher levels, a lot safer. That's one of the reasons why people take it, is as a secondary compound to mitigate the estrogenic effects you get from testosterone, higher doses of testosterone, higher doses being like above 300-400. 500, then you'll have to mitigate it with something like Masteron or Primobolan. I'll talk maybe a little bit about Primobolan later in the video, though. So it's a synthetic androgen and anabolic steroid, hence an agonist of the androgen receptor, the biological target of androgens like testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, DHT. So Masteron is a DHT compound, so you're taking a testosterone base, say 200, 250. And then Masteron at, I'll explain the ratios in a bit, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio usually with testosterone. But it depends on, some people convert testosterone to estrogen a lot easier or than others. So, you could mitigate that based on blood work, but if you're taking like low doses, like 300, 1-to-1 ratio, I don't see it affecting it that badly. Sorry, my dog's fucking shit up there. Don't touch that, okay? Okay? Sorry. So, to get right to it, so again, it was used in the 60s, but so it had legit medical uses, and but I don't think it was really directly studied on men. It was more of a women's drug. Stop touching that, you're making way too much noise, man. So my dog's ripping up a bag right when I make a video. So it wasn't really been studied on men, which might be a bit of a deterrent, but there has been a lot of use of it over the last few decades. So generally speaking, I know it's a bit anecdotal, but through the experimentation of bodybuilders using it, we know that it's a safe compound. Okay, I'm confident in that. It's not going to cause cancer. There's no big cancer uptick in things with guys who are taking it. So things like that, or liver, I mentioned it's not liver toxic, okay? And it has no estrogenic effects. It's actually anti-estrogenic, okay, when you take it alongside something that converts to estrogen. I mentioned it had medical uses. Non-medical uses, obviously, it's for physique and performance enhancing purposes. The propionate specifically is very good for cutting. So some guys say you need to be like below 15% body fat to actually notice it, or like for it to be the best. Okay, maybe if it's for the best reasons, the hardening that you get and whatnot. But I notice I'm just shedding weight, and my muscle definition and cutting is ridiculous. Like today, I was boxing and I weighed myself. I'm 207 pounds, so I'm losing like on average like 5 pounds a month, or a little at least. And I know, and like I feel like I'm super tight. Fucking feel like my muscles are just tightness and like defined. I know I'm not like super jacked bodybuilder, but I'm not. That's not my goal. My goal is to be bodybuilder. I feel I'm more of a boxing trainer, and not just so Masteron is good for this because it's not like it's appropriate anyway. It's not like a size builder per se, although it will help with that. It's been questioned on actually the anabolic qualities of it, and I don't think it's like a very strong one compared to other anabolics as being the strength of it being able to grow strength and size. But regardless, I think it's really good for sports like boxing, or sports where you don't want to be fucking like necessarily like super jacked bodybuilder. Like obviously a little bit of jack's good, but like especially when you're bringing your weight down, you're like on a cutting cycle. And maybe bodybuilders, that's why they use it for closer to competitions. But I think it's perfect for other athletes. I think it's perfect for boxing. So my current cycle is testosterone around right now I'm around like 200 a week testosterone, and then match that with Masteron, and then I'm around 75 NPP, Nandrolone, propionate. Maybe I'll make a video about Nandrolone in the future. And I'm taking like 2 to 4 units of growth hormone a day in Cialis. And that's like a very moderate, whatever some people would say is not moderate, like, but because it's a HRT, but compared to what other people are doing, it's very moderate, and it just works. Okay, like the cycle I'm on, but the Masteron is the secondary compound that is like the primary focus. Like I want to be cutting, I want a harder look, I want a performance. It enhances performance. It does enhance strength. You're not going to blow it up. It's a very drying compound, and that's kind of my desire because of the cutting. Like I was up to like 230 pounds last year, and was really puffy. And since starting taking steroids, it's just been like shrink wrapped and chiseled out like a motherfucker. And the size is drastically improved. I was doing chest fly machine the other week, like 250 pounds for like 13 reps. And yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago. 100% not. So what I do is I just like first of all draw like right now 3 milliliters of, or I guess zero 0.3 of a milliliter of testosterone. Then I draw like 0.5 of a milliliter of Masteron, and that works out to around the same, give or take a little bit, but it's close enough. And then I add another 0.4 of a milliliter of Nandrolone all into one intermuscular syringe like this. Okay, and then inject that. I do it always in my ass. I generally change it every other day, one to the other. Left side's a little harder to inject, but that's how I do it. And so the ratios you want to generally do with Masteron is like a 1-to-1 ratio with testosterone, and with something like Nandrolone, like maybe a 1-to-3 to 1 to even up to like 1-to-10 ratio, I want to say. So, but if you're taking Nandrolone alongside with testosterone, you probably could get away with it being like a 1-to-1 with the testosterone you're doing. Okay, unless you're doing it. But I can only speak for like relatively low doses. I haven't taken anything more than 500 tests a week. So, and I just matched it with that. Hey, my personal experience is like Masteron compared to the Primobolan. Primobolan kind of is known to do the same thing, which is mitigate the estrogenic effects, but it does so through a different route. I think Masteron does it a lot more effectively than Primobolan, although I think Primobolan has some other physiological effects that are more desirable than Masteron, although you can kind of get the same, if not more, by one, either doing a little bit more testosterone, and then match it with the Masteron, or two, adding a little bit another third compound such as Nandrolone. You don't need much after that. You're already doing like 300, 600, like 0.6 of a gram already. So like, okay, if you then just add another 0.1 of a gram of Nandrolone or something, a little goes a long way at that point. On top of the HGH, on top of the something like Cialis, which has kind of an anabolic effect as well. It does. Like it's the jackiness you get on from just taking Cialis is kind of cool too. So, and the other compound I should mention is Anavar, which I think would work really well with that. And with Anavar, you shouldn't do even too much, especially when you're already your stack is already a few compounds deep and already pushing closer to the gram mark. It's like you can just sprinkle a little bit of that in. It's like, and that will go a long way too. It all adds up. Every one of these molecules is like essentially testosterone. So it's like it's like you're just adding more testosterone on it. It's dihydrotestosterone, like the molecule. Here it is. Like if you look at that molecule, it's literally the same thing as testosterone. There's like a slight difference, but it's the same thing. Same with Nandrolone. So that's pretty much what I'm going to cover with Masteron. I believe it to be a great athletic and a great HRT just for your general dad-aged person, 40s, 50s, because this is a time where we have a bit of a midsection, a little bit of a dad bod and bloatingness. We bloat a lot easier. It's a lot harder to lose weight at our age group, but you definitely get a mood, energy boost, and become a little bit more masculine, which is kind of good in some ways as well. But again, don't want to push it too hard. It's like anything that you do, any of these drugs. So I'll leave it there, guys. Leave in the comments section if you have experience with Masteron, or if you have any questions about it that you'd like me to expand upon. Please, my pleasure to always answer comments and to talk to you guys. So I'll leave it there. Have a great day or evening, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.